This is so important for our community and for our neighborhoods here that are here tonight, and I think your turnout reflects how important this is. The CodeNEXT is going to affect everybody in the city, every property owner, every business, everyone, and our visitors and those that are going to be moving to our city in the future as well. So this is really extremely important. So we're going to get started here in just a minute, and I'm going to turn it over to Pastor here to introduce everybody.
Good evening. My name is that loud enough? Can you hear me back there? My name is Pastor Gary Goodson. I'm a pastor of Faith Lutheran Church. This church has been embedded in this neighborhood since 1950. Those of you who were living here at that time will remember that Woodrow was a dirt road, as I think also Anderson Lane was. This was North Austin. So much has changed. We continue 65 years plus later to do ministry in a neighborhood that is so much different than what it was. We welcome you, and we hope that the air conditioning doesn't give out and that the sound system works so that you can hear exactly what is going on here. A little bit I just wanted to take an opportunity to welcome you, people of Brentwood and Crestview neighborhood who are our neighbors too. God bless you.
Thank you, Pastor Goodson, for providing this meeting place. We very much appreciate it. And a couple of quick announcements. In the back of the room, before you leave, there's at least 3 tables there. There may be more now, but there's a table for Brentwood Park to support Brentwood Park. There's a table for those of you who are not members of the Brentwood Neighborhood Association who would like to join. And there's a table for community, not commodity. So welcome everybody, thanks for being here. I am Bill Spiesman, I'm the president of the Brentwood Neighborhood Association, and we are here, we're here because of concerns that CodeNEXT will fundamentally change the fabric of our neighborhood. And we're fortunate to have with us today our Mayor, Mayor Steve Adler, as well as our council member, Leslie Poole. Before we get to them, though, we're going to have brief statements by representatives from 4 neighborhood associations nearby here. First up, representing Allendale, is going to be Alan McMurtry.
My name's Alan McMurtry, and I'm here with Allendale neighborhood. And boy, am I glad to see all you citizens of Austin, Texas. I want to thank the mayor and Councilmember Poole for coming out here, and we appreciate y'all taking the time. I'll get right to my comments in a non-linear form. I'm with the Land Development Committee in Allendale, and here's what we're having to tell our citizens of Allendale. First, single-family residential use only is gone. There'll be no single-family residential use zone lots in Austin, as ADUs are permitted in all categories. This is particularly difficult because the City Council voted in October to take ADUs at least out of SF2. We did not know at that time that SF2 and SF3 would cease to exist. Number 2, the density bonus program for affordability there on Vernon Rose and Lamar could put an 85-foot-story building within 0 to 50 feet of residential uses. The definition in CodeNEXT of an alley matches the definition and uses of easements along Vernon Road. That would allow a maximum of 25-foot setbacks. In parts of Brentwood, it would be 0 setbacks for 85 feet. In the best case, it would be 50 feet. Number 3, bars and nightclubs are by right allowed in parts of T4 found across Vernon Road from Allendale in Brentwood residential areas. Next, flooding will increase locally by district as more of the buildable areas of lots is built out, from an average of 30% now to between 40 and 45%. New flooding along Shoal Creek, which is already there. New flooding along Arroyo Seco and Grover in Crestview and Brentwood, which is already there. It is amply predicted by the addition of over 200 homes to floodplains in these areas in 2016. The lots next to you can now have up to 6 units, and by right can have 3 in all of them. If your lot is non-conforming, the City of Austin staff has stated it will be difficult to get a dwelling permit until it conforms. Since the non-conforming issue is the lot width and depth, that could be nearly impossible. The improvements would be limited to 20% of the existing value. Let me quote from CodeNEXT. Discourage the long-term continuation of non-conformities by limiting investments in them and restricting expansions or alterations that increase their degree of non-compliance. So if you've got a lot that's too narrow or a lot that's too shallow, you are not conforming, you can spend 20% of the value to improve. All the streets in Allendale and Crestview will be affected by the parking requirements or lack of on-site parking requirements in CodeNEXT. They will be clogged with parked cars. You walk or ride at your own risk because sidewalks in Allendale, Brentwood, and Crestview are rare. These problems are also predicted by the recent downtown parking study, which says that economic viability needs on-site parking. Next, CodeNEXT predictions, which were taken off their website, predict a demolition of 141,000 dwellings/unit at a loss of $10 billion in valuation over the next 10 years. The Census Bureau stated the growth in Central Texas might be around 139,000 people in the next 10 years, but it also predicted about 30% would be all that would settle in Austin, Texas. As we look at affordability, it is good to remember that Portland, Oregon in 2016 lost $320 million in affordable rentals in 2016. Mayor Tom Miller did a lot for Austin, but the thing he is remembered for is bringing duckweed, a lake, Austin Town Lake, and the Colorado River from Austin to Gulf of Mexico. CodeNEXT is a duckweed in the 21st century. Let us keep CodeNEXT out of the duckweed business. Thank you.
So next we have Mike Deline with Crestview Neighborhood Association.
Like that? Yeah. All right. This feels natural. I'm going to keep this very short so we can have more time for questions. In Crestview, there's a few concerns that keep popping up, and I know Barbara's going to address a lot of them in her talk, so I'm going to just touch on the parking issue that Bill addressed about the street parking being a substitute for parking at your houses is a major issue for most of us. We do not have sidewalks, and we have small children and pets, and that leads me to the next thing, which is a park deficiency that we already have in our neighborhood by, I think it's 15 acres or so that were promised, according to Imagine Austin, I believe. And despite the fact that we've doubled our density in the last 10 years, we've gotten no new parks. And I have a little confidence that CodeNEXT is going to bring us any more parkland. I think it is going to bring us more market-driven housing, which is okay if you're in the market-driven housing business, but not if you're just a resident. Which leads me to Imagine Austin. Which leads me to Imagine Austin, which is a deal that I thought we had. And I know it was a deal that was part of the creation of our neighborhood plan that was pretty hard fought. And a lot of bad blood spilled over that, but we got it done. And now it's been thrown out the window with CodeNEXT, as has apparently Imagine Austin, because the idea was they'll be building along corridors and activity nodes. And Crestview is not an activity node, we're a neighborhood. And I'd just like to remind everybody that all this talking about new construction and having new places for folks to live, that's all great, but new construction costs more. And it costs more than the construction that already exists.
Yes.
And I think we have to remember that the folks who represent us at City Hall represent us and not the people who want to move here.
Heritage is a small neighborhood situated between Guadalupe and Lamar, 29th and 38th Street. Although the map of our neighborhood shows a clear single-family fabric, the neighborhood has a wide variety of housing types ranging from older single-family homes. I would have thought that the Heritage neighborhood already meets the goals of Imagine Austin. But apparently the staff and consultants see things differently. Heritage is one of the neighborhoods that was assigned T4 zoning. Every property with SF3 zoning is recommended to be T4 and intermediate setback. Some properties with MF zoning and SFUs are proposed to have T4 and short setback. We believe that the proposed T4N zoning for our neighborhood is not compatible with continued single-family residential use. Our concern is that the permitted use of 3 to 5 or even 8 units on a single property and the increase in building size will result in a restructuring of the real estate values in the neighborhood. Because we're located in such close proximity to campus, these lots will be extremely valuable to developers who can make a lot of money on high occupancy rentals. The homes that are owner occupied probably won't change immediately, but just over half of the single-family houses in Heritage are rented. We already know from our experience with stealth dorms that where investors scrape lots so they could build a 6-bedroom house solely for the purpose of renting to students, then an absentee landlord absolutely will demolish these houses if they can build a multiplex or even 3 residential units on their property. With rents of at least $1,000 per bedroom, they'd be stupid not to. Ultimately, this will make it economically infeasible to buy or maintain single-family dwellings in the neighborhood. The only question is how long it will take to complete the transformation of the Heritage neighborhood into the extension of West Campus. Members of our neighborhood steering committee went to an office hours appointment to voice our concerns and to ask why the same zoning is not proposed as for the similarly situated neighborhood on the south side of 29th Street. Unfortunately, the steering committee members left the meeting deeply frustrated as the staff was unwilling to consider our concerns or provide an explanation for the unequal, unfair treatment of the Heritage neighborhood. A neighborhood isn't just streets and buildings. A neighborhood is neighbors, and I don't want to lose mine.
I'm from Brentwood. I don't like public speaking. I want to thank Don Lane Burwell and Rachel Copperman for helping me put this together and make it sound good. Thank you. Brentwood is a neighborhood with diversity in income, occupation, ethnicity, lifestyle, and housing choice. Our neighborhood plan that was developed and adopted by neighborhood residents already included diverse housing options. We were early adopters of increased density of housing options, including missing middle near McCowan High School, ADUs, and VMU residential along Burnett and Lamar. However, at the same time, our plan embraced Brentwood's family-friendly community by retaining much of the SF3 housing in the interior of the neighborhood. Brentwood is home to an elementary school in walking distance to most of its students, a great neighborhood park and pool, and a vibrant community that provides many family-friendly events. It should remain family-friendly. Our neighborhood plan embraced increased densification in a controlled manner that also retained character of the neighborhood. The 2012 City of Austin zoning existing capacity showed Brentwood to already be the densest neighborhood in District 7 south of Anderson and to have the most capacity for increased housing, 100%, with the zoning that already exists. CodeNEXT developers decided that since we embrace diversity in our neighborhood plan, that we should therefore be the most upzoned neighborhood in District 7. They did this rezoning in complete disregard or misunderstanding of our neighborhood plan. Our core SF3 housing has been upzoned to LMDR, T3NDS, T3NIS, T3NWL, T4NIS, T4NSS, T4NIS, open category, and T4N. The maximum density is 175 units per acre on a single family lot. twice as dense as Burnett Flats on Koenig, and 45 feet in height. There are spot zonings of T4N scattered throughout our neighborhood. Half of the homes south of Koenig have been rezoned to be apartment buildings. With T3 or T4 zoning, this means that many of our current 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family, and duplex homes will become very desirable as tear-downs. They will be replaced with a set of 3 to 8 brand-new 1 or 2-bedroom homes that will be more expensive and less affordable than the house that was there before. Parking will be a problem. You're no longer residences have the parking that they were required to have before. The city doesn't have money for sidewalks, nor do they have the desire to lower the speed limits in our part of Brentwood. CodeNEXT developers champion the idea that a 2-adult household won't need 2 cars because they can walk to transit and will have autonomous vehicles soon. That's what city staff told us when they came out recently. Brentwood is very fortunate to be in walking distance of many bus stops, but Austin's transit infrastructure isn't San Francisco and it isn't New York. Most people have to drive to work and will for this foreseeable future, and that new apartment complex that goes in on your street will be here way before the new mass transit system. Plan around a transportation infrastructure we hope to have, but don't have, and most likely will never have. A lot of the zoning changes are in details, and you have to study it hard to understand the details. I've been doing that. But it is clear that a lot of the devil is in the details. And these details will result in major changes to what is currently allowed or not allowed. For example, compatibility setbacks are minimized. Houses in our neighborhood